Okay, this is the training tape for week 2. I think there's 26 plays. A lot of it has to do with mechanics and holding. A few DPI plays thrown in here, some other false starts and stuff. But first thing I want to discuss is we had something last week that we haven't had a rash of a while, and we have to nip it in the bud. Is a inadvertent whistles. Okay, we should not be officiating with the whistle in our mouth. Do not blow your whistle until you see a body part down with possession of the ball. Okay, these games are too important. We're starting to get into the meat of the season to where we cannot afford to blow our whistle at the inopportune time and whenever the player is not done. So that's all I'll say about that. All right, first play we're going to get into, and let me set the stage. It's 4th and about 3. Okay, so when we have that situation, we should be on high alert for things that the offense is going to do to try to drop the defense offsides. Hard counts, shifts. So let's take a look at this play right here, and let's watch it. Right? Okay, so we have a flag on the play. So what do we think the flag is? We have the defense jumping, we have the offensive moving. So in this situation, the offense is all lined up with an all in 2-point stance, so they're allowed to move. Nobody's locked as a restricted lineman, but they didn't do this the rest of the any part of the other part of the game. So being that it is 4th and less than 5, their main goal here is to get an easy 5 yards here, and I'll have to commend this crew with big kudos for they put this on the offense, and this is a false start. This is an abrupt movement by the offensive line to try to draw the defense off sides, and I'm really glad that the crew saw this, thought about it. I'm sure they probably have a little bit of a discussion about it, and they put this on the offense. This is a clear intent by the offense to try to get the defense to move offside. So let's watch this one more time. There's the abrupt movement, defense jumps, and it's totally on the offense here, and great job by this crew to get this penalty. Okay, we talked a lot about. I have an earlier tape about fouls at the snap where we get fooled by teams and players that maybe move right with the ball but just are quicker than a teammate. Let's take a look at the wide receiver at the top of the screen right up in here, and let's just watch him. He's a little quick, right? And we think, oh boy, we missed a false start. But let's look when the ball was snapped. We slow it down. He moves right with the snap. And this head linesman does an excellent job not overreacting to the early movement because he sees the ball and the player at the same time and knows that it is not a false start. Here we have an obvious offsides here, but that's not the reason I'm putting this on the film. We'll show it again. The defense moves. We know immediately once the defense moves in the neutral zone that we have a dead ball situation. But what I like is watch both of the wings. They throw their flags up in the air. They kill the clock, and they make a beeline in to talk to the referee. Both of them are running in. This looks like this crew is really into this game. I mean, the coaches have to think, wow, these guys are right on top of their game because they're hustling, okay? They're not standing at the sideline throwing their flags up, giving a preliminary signal here. And with a lot of the movement going on, they probably are going to have a little bit of discussion. So it's good to have, they're moving with purpose to get into the backfield, and it really looks sharp by this crew. Next bit is we're going to talk about mechanics. So I talked a little bit to the referees, and this referee has good initial position. He's about looks like he's about 5'10". He could probably be a little bit deeper. He's about 11. Should be about we should be about in here. But what happens here with this referee is not only is he not deep enough, but what happens is he starts to move forward. So that's our cardinal sin, and we talked about this earlier on a tape. Because what happens if what happens? Now the quarterback has broken the tackle. Now the referee's closed that gap so much that he's in the way of the play. So now he's getting out of the way and almost being a part of the tackle. Okay? And I'm sure this coach is probably upset right now because he thinks that maybe that defense grabbed some helmet opening. But how can the referee be in position to see that when he ran up and he has no idea, was there a helmet opening grab? If he was back here where he initially should have started, and he could have had a better angle to possibly see if there was a helmet grab right there. But the other concerning part is after this play is over, the coach is upset. So what does the referee do? The referee takes his eyes, look right here, he takes his eyes off the field of play. We have opposing players in the backfield. We don't know how heated this game is going to address this coach. Let your sideline official come up and get the spot, like he's doing. Spot the ball. If the coach has a problem, let the sideline official handle it. You should never take your eyes off the field like this referee does here. It's not good because, as we're going to see later, these games are starting to get heated, and there's a lot of stuff that is happening after the play that we need to keep our eyes focused on. Okay, next play we're going to look at the mechanics by the field judge and the line judge in this play, and it's just a wonderful job here. We have a sweep to the bottom side of the field, and it's a good job right here not calling holding on this play. We'll get to holding a little bit earlier, but look, there's nothing here that rises to the level of holding. He pushes them away, and look at the field judge. Look at the mechanics of the field judge. He could be a little bit deeper, but I'm fine with that. He's still. The line judge is coming down and helping. And now we have a runner that's diving for the end zone. So correct me if I'm wrong, the end zone extends to infinity here. And all we need to do is the ball needs to cross the goal line, whether it be inside or outside the pylon. And again, someone can correct me. I don't want to get my 2 days confused. Before stepping out of bounds. So the runner dives, he checks with his line judge. Line judge gives him a nod. Then he goes up for a touchdown. I can't express enough how good this looks and how happy this makes me feel when I see great tandem work by a field judge and a deep wing and a line of scrimmage person here. And what I also like is that the line judge stops right here and starts officiating around looking for problems instead of just running around and trying to get the ball. So this is great work here by this line judge and this field judge in this play. Another great mechanics by the line judge here. We're going to have a sweep to the bottom side of the field. And watch what the line judge does. He knows that he can't get back here quick enough, so he just backs up. And watch what happens. He backs up, lets the runner goes in front of him just like normal. Then he has his elbow hits in bounds. He has a nice cool wind, comes up to the spot. This is just great mechanic. This is great sound mechanics here by this line judge. Elbow hits in bounds. We have a wind. He comes up. All I would say is keep your head up a little bit more. The referee's coming up. The players toss the ball into the umpire, and we're running like a well-oiled machine. So great mechanics here by this crew. Next, we're going to look at the mechanics by the side judge, and look where the side judge's initial positioning is. I can't gush even further about we're buying in, people, and I'm really starting to get excited about we're buying in on where to line up. And this is, the reason is, we're going to see a play here, and think about if this side judge was lined up on the pylon, how much more difficult this play would be for them. Snap, handoff. Does he ever move? He never moves. And then he blows his whistle and comes in cool and calm with his hand up. Again, this is just like phenomenal mechanics. If that side judge was on the pylon, he would have no idea. He would be backing up, worrying about whether or not he was going to get run over in this situation, not whether or not the runner crossed the goal line. So great job here by the side judge. Next, we're going to take a look at the mechanics by the field judge here. I'm sorry, this would be the side judge because the head linesman's shuffling downfield. So we have a long pass, caught. This is the field judge's mechanics. I still don't see the field judge. Look at the depth he has. Still don't see him. Still don't see him. Waiting at the goal line. Checks with his line judge. Do we have a touchdown? Boom. Goes up. Great job again there for those mechanics. All right. We're going to get into a little DPI situation here. And this play, I'll admit, is a tough play for the side judge here. We have a pass to the end zone. And again, he's in great position right here, right? He's back exactly where we want him from a couple plays earlier. But what makes this play super difficult is A, the side judge knows that he or she has to get to the end line because there's no one back there. So he's looking back through here, but what he doesn't see is this arm get pinned down right here by this DB that makes this receiver a one-arm receiver. So this is a difficult play for the side judge. So this is where if we have a head linesman who's looking in on this play, he could help with this arm rake. I mean, I know it's probably a tough look, and mechanically, this might be just a tough play for us overall to get. But I put this on here because I wanted to show you an example of a foul for defensive pass interference, making the player a one-arm receiver. And it's a tough play. I can't really fault the side judge. He probably was, he had the end line to worry about, goal line to worry about. So it was a tough play for him. Hope maybe we can get a little bit of help from the head linesman, but that is enough for a foul for DPI for holding for a hold and restrict on the arm. We're going to show some good no calls for DPI, and another one by the side judge at the top of the screen. I'm sorry, at the bottom of the screen, the field judge at the bottom of the screen. This is a case where, look, we have a defender not playing the ball. We've talked a lot about this not playing the ball a lot. If there's any early contact, we're going to have a foul for defensive pass interference. But when the contact occurs here on this play, right there, it is the ball is already there. So it's a great job by this line judge and this field judge not to overreact in the fact that the defender was not playing the ball. And he's also trying to fight for position because that offensive player is trying to legally hold him off because he's allowed his space. So he's maybe leaning into him a little bit, but this is just overall another good mechanically sound play and good judgment by this crew not to call defensive pass interference. All right, this play, we talk about fundamentals here, and this player right here is the 12th player on the field. Okay, our philosophy on 12 men on defense, if the ball is snapped and the defender's next step will take him out of bounds, then we say he is off the field. But in this situation, we look here. Let's look when the ball snapped right here. He's almost at the numbers, and unfortunately, we don't get this foul for 12 men on defense. And forgive me if I can't remember if this is legal participation or legal substitution. But it is a foul that we should get. I mean, the fundamentals, with the two deep guys counting defenses, we should do every play. Just like on offense, we should count offense. Line of scrimmage people, we should be counting the people on the line of scrimmage. So again, it's a little disheartening that we have a lapse, and this game was a bit of a blowout, and it's early in the game, but it's a little frustrating that we don't get these fouls. It ruins our credibility for later in the game. So this is just a case where we should a reminder, we're going into week 3. A lot of us, this is our 4th game this week. Continue to do the fundamentals that your position dictates, because we can't have lapses like this, especially as the games get more critical down further. All right, we're gonna have 2 situations to look at. We're gonna look at the block by this player and the block by this player. First, let's take a look at the block by this player, who that we know is in this situation is our field judge. So we have a pass out here, and we have initial contact that starts in the side. And our philosophy on blocks in the back is if the block starts in the front or in the side, and somehow through the progression of the defender trying to make the play, the blocker's hands work their way into the back, there is not a foul for a block in the back. So let me repeat that. If we have constant engagement where the block starts in the front and it ends in the back, it is not a foul for a legal block in the back. However, if the block starts in the front and there is disengagement and there's a second act that there's a push in the back, then there's a situation there where we have a block in the back foul. So let's look at that first block here. We have block on the side, no disengagement. Yes, there's a back component to this, but there is nothing that, that just meets the criteria of a continuous block that starts in the front. Now let's look at the block by the second receiver in right here. And let's see if we have what we have here. So we have a block that starts in the front. It's working its way. He does kind of let go at the end, but either way, in both cases, these are two good no calls for illegal blocks in the back that start in the front or side, and just there's no disengagement. So good job here by the field judge and the line judge in this situation. All right, illegal formations. We need to have 7 players on the line of scrimmage here, and if you have 11, that's your 4 in the backfield. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. In this situation, we call back a touchdown for illegal formation, and the only person I think that possibly could be off the line is this player at the end of the line here, just by his head placement. But I mean, just look at where his feet are lined up with the rest. I find it hard to believe that that person is in the backfield. So if we're going to be calling fouls for illegal formation, let's make them clear and obvious, because would you want to call back a touchdown like we do here? That's the game-winning touchdown for a foul that's not clear and obvious, like in this situation. All right, we're moving into our unnecessary roughness section, and the games are getting heated. Playoff position jockeying is going on, and we have to have our head on the swivel. Don't worry about the ball after the play. Officiate until the teams go back to the huddle, and we have holes in our mechanics. And this situation right here illustrates one of them. So if you're a guy or girl on the top of the screen up here, and you have nothing to look at, look across the field for someone who could do something malicious. Because look what happens on this play. And the person I want to, because what we're going to say, we're going to watch the player here, and we'll explain what happens. That's just a cheap hit. Okay, I don't care if you call it a block below the waist. It's a cheap hit on that player, and that should be flagged. Now, I cannot, we're going to say, well, how did the field judge not see this? Well, the field judge has the goal line, and he has a lot of stuff going on right in this area. The line judge looking at these blocks right in here, looking at the runner. So, it's difficult to totally place the blame on the field judge here, and that's why I said, like, what is the side judge looking at here? Could the side judge look across the field? And some of you gentlemen who have been officiating a lot longer probably than I've been alive will say, there's no way I'm throwing a flag from across the field. I'm not fishing in someone else's pond. The response I'll give you to that is there are 6 of you on the field. And your number 1 job is player safety. Your number 2 job is getting plays right. I think you can say that without any doubt that number 1 and number 2 fall in this very play right here, because this is a dirty, malicious hit. This kid could have broke his leg with the way this hit happened. And if that side judge throws that flag 54 yards across the field to get this correct call, everybody better buy him a drink after the play, because he is engaged in the game. He's trying to help his crew, and no one is going to say anything, whether or not he threw the flag far or not. All right, we're going to look this next play. We're going to take a look at the safety up here. And umpires, I'm not the best at umpire mechanics, but I do see a lot of you watching the ball a little bit too much than I'd like. Okay, in this situation, we're going to have a run to the bottom of the screen. And as you can see here, our umpire is watching the ball here. Okay, and I think we're best suited is to watch this stuff behind the play, because I believe we're going to take a look at this player right here. And if our eyes are backside like they should be, since the referee's working front side, we catch that cheap shot right there. Okay, we catch this cheap shot, that runner's down. Even if the runner's not down, it's just being tackled and he gets hit. This is a foul. This is a personal foul right here. We should have a flag in that situation. And then again, head linesman and side judge, if you see that, that's a crew saver call. But umpires, try to work this week on not watching the ball, watching your linemen around the play, and maybe you'll catch something like that during the play. Another situation, the ball's kicked to the top half of the screen up here. And take a look at what happens around, I think it's right in here. So the ball's down at this point, right? Take a look at number 7, what he does, way away from the play. He just goes and knocks that player from behind. And, you know, you can say what you want, but this right here is not football, okay? This is a player who would normally get blocked going out to punish a player for no reason. So in a situation like this, I would defend you 1,000% if you threw a personal foul right there, because that's not football. That is just, that's just a cheap shot. So field judge and even the line judge, watch stuff behind the play when it's going on up here. The spot here is irrelevant. Whether you spot the ball at the 38, the 39, or the 40, it's not going to matter. What's going to matter is you getting that foul and you calming this game down, because hits like that, when they start to add up, then we have issues later in the game. All right, this play has like a plethora of things to look at. So we're going to watch all the actions here that goes on here by the left tackle. So initially, we have a tackle who has a nice grab on a much stronger defender. So what the defender does is try to shed him, and they both go to the ground here. So we have a nothing right here, okay? We're not going to call a hold and a throw down by the defense. We have a whole lot of nothing here. But what we do have after the play is a loose helmet, and then it appears, I can't say that he rips the helmet off. It looks like the helmet's loose. He may push it off, but not, the player in blue then throws the helmet to the side. So at minimum in a situation like this is an unsportsmanlike conduct foul for throwing the helmet. I mean, if he picks up the helmet and hands it to the hands it back to the offensive tackle, that's good sportsmanship. This is not good sportsmanship in this situation where the D end just throws the helmet, and if the tackle's helmet falls off as a result of hitting the ground and not, then we have no foul. If it falls off because of the defender pulling it off and then throwing it, I have no qualms with you throwing 2 fouls on that defender, one for a personal foul for ripping the helmet off, and one for an unsportsmanlike conduct foul for throwing the helmet. And penalize him the 30 yards, or in this case, the half the distance twice. And, you know, there's no need to do that here. Okay, we're going to take a look at the block here by these 2 players right here. We're getting into our holding section. So this block starts out fine, but now the defender is trying to get to the inside. And if you can see this right here, he has a grab of his arm. And, you know, I know kids like to act and try to be over dramatic, but, you know, you could tell by the body language of number 5 who's trying to pull away and he can't, that this person has a good grab on him. And our field judge does an excellent job staying with this and calling this foul for an offensive hold. So, you know, this is just a phenomenal job of seeing the whole play, digesting it, letting your eyes breathe, and throwing a flag here for a holding on the offense here. So this is just a great job by the field judge here to throw this flag. Next, we're going to look at the right tackle here, and the referee does a great job here of not calling holding, and we'll talk why. So right here, you're thinking, wow, this guy must have a good grab on him. He has a grab. He's pushing up on the shoulder pads. And you might be right, but right now the defender's not doing anything to win himself an argument for a possible hold. But then as the quarterback rolls out, what does the tackle do? He releases and he pushes, okay? Even though the defender decides to throw his hands up, there's nothing here that rises to the level of an offensive hold. And the referee does a really good job here of not calling holding. And you can see he'll sneak into the screen right at the end. and he does a great job in following the play here. This next play, it's a little bit difficult to see, but we're going to look at the right tackle right here. And for those who don't have this game, this right tackle is really athletic and strong. So, but watch what he does to the defender. He twists and just pulls him, and tries to pull him to the ground. So in this situation, if he just bull rushed him upfield and pushed, but that twist right there is enough of a foul for a hold. And the way this play is working with the referee on the bottom hash of the field and the play going to the top hash of the field, this is where our umpire needs to transition to the front side and get a piece of this and see this action. And as he's twisting him right there, it's right at the point of attack, we should have a flag down here for an offensive hold on it's on the left tackle. I said the right tackle. Get my left and right. So this left tackle right here. Outside grab, twist, and then tries to drag him down. So that's enough of a foul for an offensive hold. So we're going to look at the pulling. I don't know if it's a pulling guard or tackle in this situation. So it's number 54 right here. It's the right guard here who's pulling. We have a pulling guard trying to go and reach out to get a defensive end. And what happens? He reaches out and he just enough. You're going to say, wow, Brian, that's really not enough. But look at where it happens. It happens right at the quarterback. He has a grab of the shoulder. That little tug is enough to allow that number 8 to get around the edge and gain a substantial amount of yardage. But the referee was really aware, watched that pulling guard in this situation, and did a really good job to get this offensive hold, because he knew that that really affected the play. That tug, a little bit of a tug, just affected the play right there. So great job there by the referee. This next play, we're going to look at the right guard right here, I believe. And he gets out and he pushes. So we're looking at this matchup right here. So he has good engagement and we have a pass to the outside. So the only thing he can do is just push that defender, continue to drive that defender. And look what he does. He just drives that defender, and that's what we like to call an overpower. He doesn't twist or turn him to the ground. He just pushes him, and just overpowers him right to the ground. Good job here by the referee and line judge here to call a foul for offensive holding. We like to make holding fouls a little bit bigger on kick plays, and we're going to take a look at the foul up around, I think it's around the 32-yard line. So we have the initial contact here, and this is right up the alley where the umpire will be looking. Maybe the side judge is looking in this area. But watch what that defender does. He gets beat, and then he just drags and pulls him to the ground, and we get a nice flag in there for an offensive hold. And I think actually it comes from the line of scrimmage official, which is just a great job. Yes, it does. It comes from the line of scrimmage official, the head linesman who sees that. That's just as I said, I would think the umpire possibly could be looking in there, but that's a great job by the line of scrimmage official, not watching the ball, watching up ahead. I mean, look, that's a 30-yard throw, and that's a crew-saving call. Okay, so I'm not telling you to be bandits, but when the call has to be made, somebody on the crew who does it, it's a really good job to step up to make that play. Next, we're going to look at I think it's the left guard here, right here. Let's take a look at the action here. So he's blocking what presented him, but it appears now the indicator is the blocker is beat. He's beat to the outside. So the only thing he can do is to continue to push the defender. So what does he do? He pulls the defender around and tackles him to the ground, and this is a foul for an offensive holding. It's a takedown foul. This isn't a overpower because the defender doesn't want to the defender's back is to the running back right here. No defender wants to make a tackle with their back. So we know that we know that 54 has a good grab of him right here. and just tackles him right to the ground. So that's a foul for offensive holding, and a great job by the referee to get that foul. All right, we talked earlier about making the calls that need to be made and and then we also need to lay off the calls that do not to be made. We're going to take a look at the block by the left tackle right here. And we saw a bunch of holds that were, rose to the level of restriction. So let's look at this block right here. And then we have a touchdown pass, but then it gets called back for holding on this left tackle. And I think that I don't really have to explain too much. After seeing those calls for holding, and then we look at this block, there is nothing here that even rises to the level of an offensive hold here. So, like I said, we have to have the courage to throw the foul when needed, but we also have the courage and the wherewithal to take our time and breathe and let the play develop and not call a foul, in this situation. So, and unfortunately, in this game, we had two situations where touchdowns were called back, and it's hard to, you can't argue this one because there is not a hold, and we don't want to take points off the board when they're not warranted. And then earlier in the tape, we had one of the legal formation that was very difficult to find too. So let's just make sure our calls are there because they're impactful. All right, last play, horse collar tackle. We don't see many of these, and I don't know if you want to classify this as a horse collar tackle or possibly something else, but it definitely is a foul. In this situation, there's a grab inside the collar. You can even say he grabbed the helmet opening. It could be a face mask, but this is just his fundamentals here, right? Grabbing, pulling down, and a good job there by that crew to get that call. But again, thanks again for watching these films. I can definitely see that the improvement each week, mechanically and with our judgment. So it's a great job. And keep sending me the questions. Comment. If you have any questions regarding the terminology or any of the plays I bring up, and if I make any mistakes, please make me aware of it. I want these films to be the best, so that you all can just learn as I was taught coming up. And it's just great to see the level of officiating that's been growing in these past 2 years. I can really see you've been watching them, and if you want them notifications when they keep coming out, just subscribe to the channel on YouTube and you'll know right away. Best of luck to everyone this week, and if you have any questions, please reach out.